I'm Stacey Lindes from PodcastPD, a part of the Education Podcast Network, just like the show you're listening to now. Shows on the network are individually owned and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other interesting education podcasts at edupodcastnetwork.com.
Welcome to Fresh Air at 5, the podcast. I'm your host, Brian Carpenter. Fresh Air at 5 is my regular attempt to exercise by walking about my neighborhood to take in podcast content, then reflect in an unedited video, which I finally post to my Twitter channel. This podcast will be a regular collection of the audio from these selfie videos. You can follow me on Twitter at FreshAirAtFive or check out my website, briancarpenter.com, for other content I have created and collected.
Hey, PLN, August 16th, 2021, and it is a beautiful day for a walk in the forest. I haven't listened to any podcasts today, but it is the end of my wife's vacation week, so we've had so much fun out and about doing all kinds of things. We went backpacking this past weekend with our family and another family and a gentleman from Ontario. It was fantastic to go out and do that. You can see that video in the future on my YouTube channel if you like. And great day to be walking in the forest, getting lots of fresh air. I'll be back to listen to the podcast tomorrow. So stay tuned for tomorrow's segment. Have a great day. Hope you're having a good weekend for yourself. And I sure am. Happy day. Bye-bye. Hey, PL, on Tuesday, August 17th, 2021, a beautiful morning that's overcast and cool. We've had it hot here for quite a while, and it's nice to get out in the morning and have some refreshing, cool air. So, it's also halfway through August, and the days are getting shorter. And I just noted this morning that sunrise here is at 6:24 this morning. Back in June, it was at 5:02 at summer solstice, and so the days are getting shorter pretty quick right now, but that's okay. All right, so this morning as I'm out walking for Fresh Air at 5, I listened to EdTech, the podcast, episode 92, which is another gold mine of awesomeness that Eric and Nick bring. And gentlemen, thank you for your list of 20 EdTech tools to check out for the fall of 2021. And so to say that, there's 20 tools to check out. We can't run 20 tools here in our spaces. It's impossible for us to do all these tools well, plus all the regular things that we do. So don't feel pressured to go and try all these things. And Eric and Nick, you guys, and with Kyle Nemes, came up with my EdTech bundle. And you'll have to listen to the episode to get the details, because I'm not going to tell you those, because it's important that you go listen to the episode to hear what they're talking about. But I believe that is a rockin' solution to a problem that I've got and many of us do have. The other day I was offered a premium trial to Cam Scanner because of a video that I made for my school 4 years ago that's had over 80,000 views on YouTube, and Cam Scanner went, wow, that's pretty cool. We're gonna give this guy a free trial for a month. That was at the beginning of August. I have no need for that during August. So I'm gonna hold off accepting that free premium for a month from Cam Scanner until the fall, so that it's actually practical for me. All right, that's all. Have a great day, and take a listen to EdTech, the podcast, E92. Bye. One more thing for August 17, 2021, finishing up Fresh Air at 5 this morning. As I'm out here walking, I listened to the 10-Minute Teacher podcast with Vicki Davis as she talked with, and I cannot remember her name. I'm so sorry, Vicki, and your guest that you had, but she works for EverFi, which is a online real-world resource company that provides resources to teachers and students in classrooms across North America and the world. And so the topic of this episode, and I can't remember the episode. See, I'm not doing very well right now. 751, or it might be even, I don't know. It's about 6 real world skill building skills that students need to learn. Okay, so this is me being authentic here, and I'm not getting it out very clearly, so I apologize for that. I will have it in the tweet, and I will in a moment give you the episode number for you to take a listen to. But it has to do with kids being able to communicate, problem solve, take on projects, being able to understand financial literacy and where they're going in the world, whether it's college or career. So that's what I want to say. I'm going to go get the information that I need, and I'll get back to you in another small segment right about. Okay, so the episode title was 6 Ways to Help Students Build Real World Skills. And the guest that Vicki Davis had on was Alicia Lyons, and she is a representative for EverFi. So take a listen to this episode, and episode number 753 of the 10-Minute Teacher Podcast. Thanks. Have a fabulous rest of your day. Bye. Hey, PLN, August 20th, 2021. It's this afternoon on a Friday, and welcome to the end of your week. Those of you that have started school already, you made it through your week. Fantastic. Glad to hear that and glad to see that. I haven't been walking as I regularly have for Fresh Air at 5 this week because I have a medical thing going on that is distracting me from walking, and also because of that, I haven't listened to podcasts as much as I would like to this week. This morning, though, I did listen to episode 40 of the Tom Schimmer Show, as Tom had a roundtable discussion with on episode 40 of his podcast with Jill Reddy, Josh Eller, and Josh Stamper, as they talked about trauma-informed education and how we need to be able to be informed about the trauma that's going on in our students' lives and how we can care for them as caregivers and teachers. Education is important, but if our students aren't in a mindset ready to learn, it is very, very difficult for them to learn. And also us as teachers, if we're coming into our days with stuff going on in our lives that we're not tending to, that's not great either. That's actually really bad. Self-care is a really, really important thing. And as we move into this school year, I would encourage you, if you haven't done so, to take stock of how you're doing. How are you doing? Are you ready? You've had a break for the summer. Has that recharged your batteries? Do you need to do things on a regular basis that you're not regularly doing? Me, Fresh Air at 5, walking is one of the things that I do regularly for myself, for my own mental health, also for my own professional development, that I do to better myself. And today, the episode on trauma-informed education, it's a big conversation, but it doesn't need to be a big take up a lot of our time, because we embed it into our time with our students. We talk about how our feelings are affecting us. We talk about things that are going on, and there is a lot to this, and I am not doing this justice very well at all by my review of this podcast. I suggest you go and take a listen to Tom Schimmer's show, episode 40, with Jill Reddy, Josh Stamper, and John Eller, as they talk more in depth about this. Leaders of districts, do so as well. Encourage you. One more thing for August 20th, 2021, as I am wrapping up my week of podcast listening. And if you caught the previous segment, this is, a truncated week due to some other things that are going on with me. But I listened to episode 203 of the Teachers on Fire podcast. And Tim Cavey had a roundtable discussion on a Saturday morning a while ago. with CHEY, Cheney, and Pav Wander of the Staffroom podcast, and they brought their insights into a number of different topics that they talked about. And you should take a listen to episode 203 of Teachers on Fire to catch the whole story. Snippets of the story that stood out to me was the impact of content creation for the Staffroom podcast that has made an impact in their classrooms. They are modeling how to create content. They're modeling how to create graphics and do audio recordings that can benefit their students by the students watching this process in action. For myself, I have been influenced by the Staffroom podcast over time, and if you take a look at my logo not my logo, but my Twitter handle icon, you'll see my face double exposured with a quote and my face FreshAirAtFive logo. And that came out of a conversation I had with CHEY that says, hey, if your face is part of your Twitter handle or your logo, it makes a more impact as opposed to having a symbol or a logo itself. So that's why I did that. And thank you, CHEY, for having that conversation with me and in that encouragement. And I've done a bunch of double exposure with my students because I learned from them and they've learned from me. And I shared some Adobe Spark content creation that I do with my students in my space with them so that they are growing as well. Fantastic to hear. I was very encouraged. I'm excited about going back to school in 3 weeks from now. Actually, it'll be 2.5 weeks from now. And thanks, Tim, for having CHEY and Pav on. CHEY and Pav, keep on rocking it. Love it. And take a listen to the Staffroom podcast as well as The Drive on Voice Ed Radio. Peace out. Happy Friday. This is the end of episode 34 of Fresh Air at 5. Bye-bye.
As my one word for 2021 is appreciate, I appreciate you giving me a listen as I've created this podcast experience for you. It's a unique Blinkist or Coles Notes version of the content I take in, like a highlight reel, so that you can hopefully find other interesting podcasts you may not have considered before. I've recorded the specific podcast episodes in the show notes for your learning convenience. Please subscribe so you don't miss any of my upcoming episodes. And if you enjoy this podcast and its format, share it with someone else. Tweet about your experience or give it a review on Apple Podcast or wherever you listen to podcasts. Fresh Air at 5 can also be found on Voice Ed Radio. Your voice is right here, and on the Education Podcast Network, podcasts for educators, podcasts by educators. I hope you have a fantastic day and get some fresh air before the day is out, and take care of yourself because you're worth it.